All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our little interview that we've got going on here. As you know, the Hospitality Assured community is interesting and diverse, representing different sectors of industry. It consists of many people with fascinating backgrounds and vocations. We wanted to share with you some of the inspirational thoughts and career highlights. And to that end, we've asked the lovely Mark Field, who is here with us today, Director of Operations at the Victory Services Club, about the journey and value of achieving the Hospitality Assured Premier at his venue. Hi, Mark. How are you doing today?
Good afternoon. I'm fine,
yeah, good afternoon. Thank you so much again for doing this for us. We really, really do appreciate it. We're fully aware that you are probably at one of your busiest times at the minute, so we won't keep you for very long and we'll go straight into the questions if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So question number one is pretty simple, this one, hopefully. What made you decide to work in hospitality?
It was my love of food, really. I started as a chef. So with my mom cooking at home, and then that's how I got into the industry. So I was in the kitchens for a while, and then wanting to broaden my horizons at front of house as well. So yeah, love of food got me into the industry.
That's not a bad love to have, is it?
No.
Amazing. And it was, I guess, was it quite a long journey?
Yeah, I started in the kitchens when I was 15.
Okay.
So started in the kitchens and then moved in, studied hospitality. When I did it, you couldn't do a degree in it. I did a diploma.
Right.
There wasn't a degree in hospitality in South Africa anyway. They may have been here.
Yeah.
So I did a diploma in hotel management that was accredited in South Africa by the American Motel and Hotel Association.
Okay. Did you do that? Was that in Joburg?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my ex-husband might have been at the same one, you know. So that's great. That's a good journey and a great place to start, especially then if you went on to study. So almost diversifying your field, I guess.
Yes. So it was also part of the course. You did a year's placement.
Yeah.
So you worked in a hotel. You had to get yourself a job, and part of that was you moved around every department.
Right.
So it was quite a good way of, with what I do now, understanding how every department works, and the frustrations between the departments that were there then and are still here now.
Of course, because you want to have all your team on the same page, don't you? And I think if you're experiencing every department within your small business, you can understand it more. And I think that's probably quite a good thing to do, actually. For most people going into the business.
It gives you a good grounding for understanding what the person delivering that job needs, not just what you may need, you know, from above, or stakeholders or trustees of what they want to get out of it. It's you know, you're directed from there, but then it's at the grassroots level. How do you deliver on that?
Yeah, amazing. Thank you very much. Okay, what would you say are the most outstanding features of your personal organisation, of the Victory Services Club?
I think it's that we're the only tri-service all ranks military club, and we are the largest. Pre-COVID we had 65,000 members. We're now just under 60,000 and building that back up. So it's growing again. And I think that's what makes us unique. There's a lot of officers clubs, or there's non-commissioned clubs, but we're tri-services all ranks, so it's very unique.
And do you feel that that's reflected in your service as well? Do you think that gives the people who work for you the opportunity to offer more variety?
Yeah, I think it defines really and drives the culture within the club, that everybody, you know, coming through, as always should, every guest that comes through your doors, wherever you are, should be treated equally. But, you know, we've all worked in 5-star hotels, and somebody that's spending £100,000 with you and somebody who's spending one night with you, there is a VIP list on that. Here, there's not. Whether you're a private soldier or you're 4-star general, everybody is treated well. And there's no difference. There's no, although, you know, military is very rank and file, here it's everybody is treated the same.
Breaks that tradition almost, doesn't it? Which must be quite comforting to your guests.
And that's our culture, that everybody feels welcome and comfortable within the surroundings, whether we're designing menus or whatever we're doing. It you know, anything we offer fits that a private to a 4-star general fits an 18-year-old to a 100-year-old, and it's quite a balancing act. But it ties into the culture of the club. Yeah,
I guess that must be quite exciting for your chefs, as challenging and exciting at the same time, I can imagine.
Yeah, it brings both in equal measure. Really.
In equal measures, I can imagine. Thank you very much. Okay, what do you enjoy most about your role as operations director?
I think the most thing is that no day is the same, which is probably a standard answer you get from all of this. But I think why I enjoy it so much is because we are a charity. Every success you have, you can see go back in. So nothing's taken out. So all the hard work, all the changes, all the things you put in, even if you're thinking, okay, what can I do today that's going to change things in 3 years' time? You see the benefit of that from the charity work we do. The more successful we are as a business, the more successful the charity is. Right. And you know, we've got to be a successful business to be a successful charity. Mm-hmm. And that giving back this is the first charity I've worked for. And I've really enjoyed that.
I can imagine it being a very rewarding, you know, just feeling, like you said, if you're just making little changes here and there, but the knock-on effect, almost the ripple effect, and what it's adding to the charity, I think that would be something that would help you sleep a little bit nicer at night, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of that buy-in from all of the staff. I mean, with COVID, we being not for profit, we didn't close, we stayed open, but the team very much felt they were part of the fight against the pandemic, as we had military personnel here, based here. So, you know, we were still operating as a club and a hotel, but we were more now a military barracks of delivering room service to keep the soldiers safe. So we flipped all of how we operate upside down. Yeah. And we did that quite a few times. And I think you get the buy-in from the staff that they're working for something bigger than just a company.
Yeah. Yeah, the job satisfaction from that must be quite big.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. What was the motivation for choosing to work with Hospitality Assured?
Motivation, really, why we work with them is just to check that we're on the right track. I mean, everything moves so quickly. And what I enjoy with Hospitality Assured is when they do come in for the annual, every second year we have a full review, and every year you have a sort of mini review. But it sort of is our benchmark. It checks that we're still on track. It also sort of gives us what did we say 12 months ago?
Right.
Are we still, because everything moves so quickly.
Yeah.
And you have plans, and where do you measure it? Or why did you stop doing it? Right. You know, the assessor will come in and say, look, we discussed this. Where did you go? And you go, oh, well, we went that way and we actually changed it, and this is where we are.
Yeah.
So it gives you the stock, and because it's important with the scores are important, you know, everybody wants to improve on them.
Yeah.
You have to find the time. You can't, you can always say, I'll improve, I'll do this, but unless somebody's coming in and checking, you can always self-evaluate and pat yourself on the back and go, look, I'm brilliant.
Yeah.
And I think you need that test, and that's what Hospitality Assured do.
Amazing. No, it's like you said, it is very easy to go, yeah, I'll do that. But then without that person kind of coming and going, did you do that? Did you make that change that you thought about? And I think that's just a natural thing sometimes. If you are very busy, if you are, you know, like we had the pandemics and everything, so sometimes those small ideas that could be effective could probably sometimes go a little bit out the way if you've got so much else to do. So I guess it must be wonderful to have that regular kind of check. So that's fantastic. That is great. How has the HA accreditation changed the way that you work at the Victory Services Club?
I think it's not changed the way we work, because we're always striving to improve, and that's what Hospitality Assured does. But what it has made us think is, whenever we do implement something, whether it's a major project or anything, we look at sort of those 9 steps of Hospitality Assured, how it would improve there as well. And I don't mean that ties our hands or anything, but it puts us, oh, well, how is that changing within the 9 steps of Hospitality Assured if we put it in? So it's again coming back to it's sort of another checklist of when we're making things. And what it's, as we've been in partnership with Hospitality Assured for several years now, it's made us very adaptable. So when we got to the pandemic, I don't think I've written so many different standard operating procedures in a 12, 18-month period.
Yeah,
and I've never done as many cash
all different
flows
as well.
Yeah, and I've never done as many cash flows. Doing bi-weekly cash flows is something I'll be glad to put behind it.
Okay. Yeah, like the word cash flow, it's like, no.
Yeah, but I think because we'd worked with Hospitality Assured and been challenged on a regular basis about changing things, even if you didn't implement all the changes, you were thinking about the changes and what they would do. So when then you're forced to change quite rapidly, quite quickly, we were ready. We were adaptable, and that
still within those guidelines as well.
Yes, yeah. So it really helped. And I mean, when we went into the first lockdown in March, there was no guidelines from government. There was no furlough, didn't exist. The word I'd never heard of. Social distancing, COVID secure, all of these for venues. We were open. The government's detail and information only really came ready for opening on the 4th of July.
Right.
And we were operating for April, May, and June before they were ready for the Eat Out Help Out that came in August. So we had to be confident for our staff that they were safe, because
100%.
Everybody was really fearful in lockdown.
It was very scary, wasn't it? I think there was a general air of what is this, and that, like you said, fearful.
And it basically, I think how people felt was, if I get COVID, I'm probably going to die. I'm probably going to kill all of my loved ones as well, because they're going to get it. I mean, now 18 months on, we know a little bit more. That doesn't quite, or is not always the case. But we had to get over, the staff were going to work and we were going to be open. So we had to get them on board and them feeling safe. Yeah. And what they were doing with no guidance. So that Hospitality Assured guidelines and thought process helped us with that. Yeah.
No, I can imagine if you've got to adapt, but you had those changes in mind a little bit anyway. It was very scary. It was very scary. Hang on, I've lost my questions. Oh, there we go again. No, it must. Well, I mean, as you said, having people stay there still, you still had to carry on, didn't you? You just had to get on, and there was no guidelines. You had nothing from the government originally. So, well done you for giving a service back to people who probably needed it quite a lot as well. So next question. So what are the key challenges that you're facing currently in hospitality?
I think same as everybody really is staff recruiting and retention. The two are equally challenging.
Yeah.
So, and then it's also the marketplace is probably as unstable as it's ever been in pricing. I mean, because everybody's either not done business, opened up, occupancies are low. So there's a lot of uncertainty of what is the right price, what is a good price, what people are charging. So it's a very uncertain market we're operating in at the moment.
Yeah, I guess, and then it's also how much money is out there, how much money have people got that they're willing to spend too. So I think there is a lot of extra strain on making those decisions about your costings and things like that.
And it's the here and now, and then it's the longer term. You know, there is a crisis at the moment with staff shortages. There is a lot of push for upping basic wages. I mean, but once you make these changes, if you make them wrong, they could have detrimental effects further down the line. So it's balancing it, making sure also the staff you've got are vital. We've got to keep them, but you can't keep them at all costs.
No. And would you say that the hospitality assured accreditation and support has supported you? Have they given you that, almost those guidelines to be able to deal with this, with those challenges?
Yeah, I think what it's really helped with is it for the staff and things, it's made us a good employer. So we follow those guidelines. There's a good, you know, working culture. There's a good work-life balance. I think we you know, and the hospitality assured will tell us when they sort of review us again through COVID times and what we've done in COVID. But I think we've come out of the pandemic well with our staff. We communicated frequently with those. Some were furloughed, some were shielding. So we didn't see, others were working and living in. So we had a community that was here. Because when we locked down, we had a living team pretty much.
That's fantastic, actually. That must have been a good feeling for those.
Yeah,
I think that's very supportive to your staff.
Because people were worried about travel and things. So we lived in, and then people would do a stint in and then go home, or some people wanted just to stay here because they felt safer. So we did that. So I think it's what hospitality assured has done is made us that aware of what we needed to do when we went into this, and that's, you know, it's made us a better employer.
That's amazing. That's good, isn't it? It's good to have that. Yeah, it's good to have those. Well, the guidelines obviously are there, but to be able to have that support, I think, is pretty incredible, especially at a time when you didn't have any guidance. So what would you say to others who might be considering embarking on the hospitality assured journey?
I'd recommend it to anybody. Definitely in hospitality assured. A lot of people do other businesses, investors in people and things like that. But if you're in hospitality, you're speaking to people that know the industry. I mean, I've done investors in people a long time ago in a hospitality environment, and I didn't feel it quite fitted a 24-hour operation. Now that could have changed. I've not done it for a while, but I think with hospitality assured, it benchmarks you. Don't worry what you score the first time. Just it gives you where you are and then where you want to go to, and they audit a lot of properties and a lot of different businesses. And then, you know, some of their ideas you may not have come across because it's in healthcare or hospitality, but a different sector. The networking in hospitality, short of meeting other people as well, is vital. And I mean, you don't have to go physically see people. You can email people or phone people when you're looking at doing something. Just sense check in. Did it work for you? How was it? So, I mean, I think as well, and I think the majority of us have a competitive nature. So, you know, if whatever your score is, then beat it the next time.
That's it, isn't it? It gives you something to aim for, doesn't it? And it gives you that here's where you are now. Here's what you can do to change. And I think that's sometimes nice when you're head is in it all the time. It's sometimes difficult to see what's outside here. And I guess it must be quite nice to have an idea come from possibly the facilities management sector that you wouldn't have possibly considered in hospitality, but it will actually work. And I think that's a good thing about, you know, new ideas and new inspirations, and having a one-to-one team member to talk to you and to be able to guide you through it. I mean, so what is happening at the Victory Services Club over Christmas?
We're pretty busy. So we've got quite a few corporate Christmas parties and things going on. But what we do for our members, so our Christmas menus will start on the 1st of December. Mm-hmm. We've got a jazz pianist once a week in the restaurant.
Nice.
Christmas, and then Christmas Day, we generally have about 140 people in our main hall.
Wow.
We have entertainment. So that's a 3-course meal with wine. And then our restaurant, we're doing about another 120, which is more of an a la carte Christmas menu.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot of, that's a lot of covers on Christmas Day. Yeah.
So it's very reasonable here on Christmas Day. It's not a money-making day. No. For us, it's making sure everybody's got somewhere. Day. Yeah. It's very busy, but it's making sure everybody's got somewhere to go on Christmas. So that's, you know, we're not there to fleece people, and like you see. If
you spend the whole year thinking about people's feelings and their well-being, you know, to have that one day completely the opposite wouldn't make sense, would it?
Yeah.
You got to keep going.
So there's quite a lot going on. We've got a Christmas wine and dine, which the theme this year is vegetarian Christmas. So we'll see how that goes with the members. But
well, like you said, you cater for the 100-year-old to the 18-year-old. So it would be interesting to see almost which demographic has what, because you just don't know, do you, when you're giving something new?
Yeah, and that's why we balance the offer. We, you know, the sit down sort of 3-course meal with entertainment is not for everybody anymore.
Yeah.
But as we're still getting numbers of 140, it is for quite a lot of people.
It's for quite a lot of people still.
So then, you know, your more a la carte menu, bespoke vegan Christmas menus that we've got in the restaurant, that hits another market.
That's it, isn't it? You're covering all demographics, aren't you?
Yeah.
Amazing. And one last question. This is just about you. What's your personal favorite Christmas song or game or tradition? No braais in London.
I think probably tradition is, now it's more new than a tradition from when I was a kid, because with having children, we start, so on the 1st of December, we tell the children that that's when Christmas magic starts.
Oh.
So when they wake up on Christmas morning, we've changed their bedding to Christmas bedding.
While they're asleep.
While they're asleep, yeah.
That must be some sight.
Yeah, we had achieved for a couple of years changing their pajamas as well. But,
that's amazing.
That's too ambitious. So now the new pajamas are at the end of their bed, but they're not actually physically in them. We chickened out on waking them up. So yeah, that's with their little faces when they wake up is.
I think that's amazing. I just think that's amazing. Like just waking up as you're a kid, being like, what? Oh my God! I mean, that just must be amazing. I love that tradition.
Yeah, so that's probably the one.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you, Mark, for taking so much time to talk to us today. I hope it wasn't too painful.
No, not at all.
And yeah, thanks again for working with Hospitality Assured. We really appreciate it. And I think that's about it. I think I can leave you to the rest of your day now. But no, right. Thank you so much indeed for joining us today. All right. Bye. Thank you, Mark. Bye-bye.
Bye.